First, let me say I'm so sorry not to be there. I would have wanted to be at this event almost more than anything I can think of. It's the culmination of a whole lot of thinking and work that was done while I was at the Hewlett Foundation. And one of the last things that we did before I left was make grants for a series of three conferences, of which this one was planned to be the kind of last one in a rollout of some of the work that we had done. And I'm so grateful to see it actually come to fruition, even if I can't quite see it. So let me just say just a few words about how we got here, or how I at least got here to where you are. This idea really grew out of work that started at the Hewlett Foundation around American democracy, which began in 2012 and 2013, by which time I thought it was already fairly visible that there was something going deeply wrong in our democratic processes. Just the loss of faith and trust in the government and in the institutions had become so clear. It wasn't a left-right issue anymore. It was really just across the board that we needed to think about how to rebuild our sense of shared political identity. And we began that work, and I felt pretty good about it until the 2016 election, which suggested that things were actually worse than we had thought, and getting worse. And in thinking about that election, what came out of it, I think we realized that it wasn't just a matter of processes, or the way in which the system was functioning badly, but that there was also a problem of not having sufficiently shared ideas around which to build the kinds of accommodations and compromise that are necessary in a complex democratic society. And doing some historical research, and a whole lot of happenstance events came together. People I had conversations with, books I read, speeches I saw. The idea that there were these actually overarching paradigms that structured the way political debates took place, and that they changed and broke down from time to time and needed to rebuild. And that when they were rebuilt, it wasn't a question of the left beating the right or the right beating the left. It was really a realignment of what counted as left and right around a new set of ideas that could then carry things forward, and disagreements could be worked out. But I wasn't sure if it was a crazy idea or not. And so we put together a first meeting that was held at the Ford Foundation in, I think, January of 2018. It's actually where I met Danielle, who was one of the people that we invited. I asked around who would be the best people to talk this through with. And we spent a couple of days, about 15 of us, just talking through the nature of the problem and the possibilities to do something about it, and the necessity for new thinking and new ideas in order to do that. And that's where this came from. And it turned out, as we began to talk to other people, that many, many people were thinking along the same lines within the academy, within philanthropy, outside, and that there was a lot of energy, but not enough focus. And so that's where this work began, and it has been coming along. And as crazy as things sometimes think, I think the progress has actually been quite amazing and quite spectacular, so that here we are basically 5 years later from when it really got going in 2020. And there has been enormous change and progress in the ideas framework that we're working in. I think it's widely accepted that there is such a thing as a paradigm, that it's not too strict, but that it serves important purposes in structuring debates, in helping ordinary citizens understand what's going on in their government, in helping policymakers and academics think about developing solutions, and helping politicians frame those solutions in ways that are comprehensible. So I think there's a fair amount of acceptance that the neoliberal framework is not working and needs to be replaced. And there's also been the development of a whole lot of amazing policy thinking around possible solutions towards that. And seeing that kind of energy in all the different sources that it's coming from, inside the academy, movement groups, activists, think tanks, within the political world, and so on, has been a really amazing thing to watch, and an amazing thing to be able to participate in. Coming to LSE, it's a global problem, and it's many people here across Europe, inside the UK, and all of our universities are working along similar lines. As I look at it, I think we have developed a lot of new policies, that may work, some of which have been tested and do work. But the work that still needs to be done is there's a lot of areas, I think, in which we still need to develop ideas. And most importantly, what we don't yet have is the kind of synthetic thinking that connects it all together into the kind of comprehensible story that ordinary citizens not just understand, but that can become intuitive for them as they think about the solutions that politicians on any and all sides of the issues are offering to them. So, so taking all of these new ideas and turning it into a kind of new common sense is a big part of the work that needs to be done. And conferences like this, I think in order to spread the word, in order to bring people together, to share their ideas, and to begin to develop the kinds of thinking that's necessary to really construct a new political economy paradigm that can help restore not just order to our politics, but trust and faith in the political institutions and other institutions that are trying, to really improve people's lives is amazing. So I wish I was there with you all to hear what everybody is saying and to be part of it. But I do look forward to thinking this conference is, quoting Churchill, not of them in the UK, is not the end. It's not the end of the beginning. It's no, it's I got that wrong. I keep messing that up. It's not the end. It's not the beginning of the end. It is the end of the beginning of work that is going to carry forward and that I and everybody else here at LSE look forward to participating in with all of you. So thank you very much and enjoy the conference. And thank you, Danielle, for doing all the work to make it happen.